Dave Rennie, Head Physiotherapist at Leicester City. Just tell us a little bit about your role to start off with.
It's a fairly all-encompassing role, from counsellor through to motivational person through to general first aid, and then eventually I end up doing the job I'm probably paid to, which is to try and prevent injuries and then rehabilitate the ones that we've actually got.
You're a familiar face around Leicester City Football Club, 16 years here.
Yep.
Just tell us a little bit about your background before you arrived at Leicester.
Before I arrived here, I'd done a sports science degree and then went on and did a physiotherapy degree at Nottingham, and then ended up into the NHS system. I wanted quite a rounded view of physiotherapy, so I went through the NHS roles of junior and senior roles in there, and then did a bit of private work and some sports related stuff at Leicester Tigers, before eventually I ended up in the role I have here today.
It's a long time, 16 years. Is it possible to just give us an insight into how that role has changed over that time and how the facilities here have changed along with it?
Well, the facilities have changed hugely. And when I first came in, the gym next door that some of the people have seen on some of the web chats and things that we've had here, initially when I came in, there was a full-size tennis court in there that Steve Walford and John Robertson, it was their terrain, and they would go in and play tennis after training. There wasn't a bespoke gym facility like there is there today, so from an equipment standpoint, things have changed radically. My role probably has diminished to some extent, whereas when I first came in I had responsibility for all of the fitness and all of the sports science related data as well, and trying to develop that role. So initially there were no heart rate belts, no ice baths, no GPS related things, and those things have evolved over the years, and we've initiated those, but now thankfully I've managed to pass them over to Matt Reeves, our head of sports science, and he thankfully runs with that area now.
How much has the industry changed? How fast is it moving, and is it difficult to keep up pace with it?
It is moving pretty fast, but it's not necessarily about copying things. It's trying to be as innovative as we possibly can. So it is taking an idea that you may have, looking at the literature and then trying to develop that yourself, rather than just simply go and watch something that's happened at Liverpool or Manchester United and try and change their ideas to your own.
So Dave, probably the most visible part of your role for Leicester City fans is seeing you on the touchline, sprinting out into the middle of the pitch to attend to the players. What goes on there? What do you say between the injured player and yourself?
Well, first thing first, it's been a few years since I sprinted anywhere really, apart from to the local. Generally speaking, once you get onto the field of play, you've seen the incident, which makes things a little bit easier. So you've got an idea as to which joint or which muscle group that's particularly injured, and then you've already got the relationship with the player. So it's very low key, if I'm honest. It's very rare that you have a major incident that you have to deal with in terms of, say, a neck trauma like the guys are treating at the Rugby World Cup at the moment and things like that. So it's very, very low key. It's just a general chat about what the players felt, whereabouts their discomfort is, and then if we feel we need to do any stability tests for ligaments or to assess a muscle group, then we go ahead with those tests. But generally speaking, it's usually the player at the end of the day and your relationship with that player which determines whether they stay on or they come off the field.
But I suppose there's a serious side to the job as well, and you do deal with some serious injuries. Is perhaps the most serious of those the incident with Clive Clark at Leicester City a number of years ago?
In terms of the gravity of the situation, you know, you're talking life and death related situations in that one. Generally speaking, managing an ankle sprain's fairly low level of priority in comparison to that. But every incident has a different sort of level of gravity, if you like. But I mean, that night was and always will be, you know, at the forefront of my mind. And you know, from that experience, we've changed an awful lot here at the football club, and a lot of other clubs have probably learnt from what we experienced on that given day. So our processes are different, and our sort of level of awareness of how badly something could go wrong has been heightened, and that was an important learning experience for us.
What do you remember, you personally, like, did it affect you much on the day?
Yeah, it affected me quite a lot, as it affected quite a lot of the players. So there was quite a lot of counselling that all of the players and staff went through afterwards. There were visits back in. Obviously, we have to go back to that environment. So when we were in the Championship, we had to go back into the changing room at Nottingham Forest where the incident happened. So It is something that every time you hear of a Fabrice Muamba type case, or a Marc-Vivien Foé, who was one of the original ones that had the problem, which should have highlighted it for us earlier. It's a difficult thing, but it does live with you, but you can't let it eat away at you. It is part of your job and it's one of the risks, but you have to be able to roll with those risks and to take responsibility for trying to protect the players as best you can.